Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Florida.
You know, pitching here in Miami is, well, you know, what can I say? It's the best place. It's the best place that I pitch at. You know, the numbers never lie, like I say. But, you know, I think that, you know, pitching here is just amazing, man. You know, I feel the love from the fans. I feel the support. And, you know, it's just, I like to compete. You know, I like to show them that, you know, it is possible. It is possible to accomplish the dreams. And it is possible to be whoever you want to be in life.
Miami tonight, it is Jose Knight. Jose Fernandez takes on the Braves. The Fish and the Braves open up a weekend series on this Friday night. And the Marlins have momentum. So do the Braves. Braves have won 5 of 6. The Marlins have won 6 of 7 series. And Jose Fernandez is ready to go. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz, along with Tommy Hutton. Welcome to Miami. There's always a little extra in the air when Jose takes the ball.
Yeah, you can kind of feel it. Seems like the crowd gets here a little earlier. There's a little more buzz down there in the stands. You can feel it.
Now that he's this far along in his major league career, his numbers at home are just astounding.
Well, he's trying to establish a record to go 17-0 to start his career at home. He just loves pitching at Marlins Park. He's also had good success against the Braves in his career, 3-1 and a 132 earned run average. So Jose Fernandez goes tonight. A little buzz. He feels it. He loves pitching here.
Now, the Marlins won the series against the Phillies last night. They did it with little ball, so to speak. A lot of relievers and only 1 run. And that 1 run was the creation of a couple young players.
And you know what? That 1 run was all they needed in the 7th inning. How about a little squibber? Great hustle by Dietrich up the line. He made 2 terrific defensive plays as well. So Dietrich got on base. JT Realmuto establishes a Marlins club record for a catcher, hitting his 7th triple of the year. Found that right center field gap. Dietrich was able to come home, and that 1 run did the trick. 1-0 was the score.
And 5 shutout innings from the bullpen as well. So the Marlins and the Braves go at it. First of 3, Jose on his start. We'll hear from Miami's right-hander when we return.
Finish the year strong, and Everybody, I mean, I know what it's, what it's there, but I'm gonna try to do my best. That doesn't mean that I'm gonna go out there trying harder because I'm gonna break a record. Sometimes less is more. And I'm happy the last game we went up tonight, and I was able to finish it strong.
To the dugout and quickly to the mound. We go out to center field. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine. Gents.
Rich, last time Jose Fernandez pitched against the Braves, he left the outing. That was when he had that elbow strain. That was August the 7th. He's had a couple of starts since then, 2 more to go, and he's feeling good about his progression.
You should be feeling very good when the first start you come back after a bicep strain. It is a 99-mile-an-hour fastball in like the 3rd inning. So he doesn't skip a beat. Anytime he takes any time off, he gets right back on the mound. His competitiveness, his poise, and what he brings to this team is second to none.
And obviously, Jose Fernandez loves pitching here at home.
It means pitching at home in front of the fans. It's always great. Going out there and give my team a chance to win, that's even better. And, hopefully finish the year strong. And everybody, I mean, I know what it's, what it's there, but I'm going to try to do my best. That doesn't mean that I'm going to go out there trying harder because I'm going to break a record. Sometimes less is more. And I'm happy the last game we went up to 95 pitches, and I was able to finish it strong. And as personal, I feel strong. I feel good. Something that hasn't been there for a little while, but happy to feel good and happy to feel healthy.
So on top of that, why does he love pitching at home? Because he's tied right now for an incredible record without a loss, most home wins to start a Major League Baseball career. Tied with Lamar Hoyt, White Sox, Johnny Allen of the Yankees back in the 30s.
Yeah, that's would be 16-0 with like a 1.11 ERA. So you're talking about historic stuff we're seeing from Jose Fernandez. 25 starts here without a loss, 16 wins. Hopefully he can get the record all to himself tonight.
Already has the record, 25 home starts, start a career. Lowest ERA, it's at 1.11, better than Find Up Blues, 1.4 plus. So the final homestand starts. It's the final series against the Atlanta Braves. Game 1 next. It's a Jose night in Miami.
is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By Vico Painting Contractors. For top quality work, excellent customer satisfaction, visit VicoPainting.com. By Checkers, epic meals, epic deals. And by AutoNation, save on over 70,000 vehicles now. Visit us online at AutoNation.com. Jose Fernandez on his way out, trying to set a little history. Trying to go 17-0 at home in his career. The Braves lineup brought to you by JM Lexus. A late change in the 2 spot. Nick Markakis has hurt Miami this year. Daniel Castro is going to play second base. Jace Peterson, the late scratch. Freddie Freeman at first. A.J. Pierzynski hits cleanup. Andrelton Simmons at short. Cameron Maybin out center. Hector Olivera, the Cuban, at third. Michael Bourne is in left. And Ryan Weber is in the 9 spot. And Jose Fernandez takes aim and fires a fastball that misses out. Pitch Penny brings you that first pitch.
Always like to watch Jose early on to see how he establishes his pitches.
That would be a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. A season for Jose with certainly some stops and starts and stops. Coming off the Tommy John surgery, and then the bicep tendonitis. That one's crunched in the gap, right center field, and deep, and gone. Nick Markakis, who had hit just 2 homers all season long, takes Fernandez out to right center. That's about a 420-foot laser beam.
The Braves have their leadoff hitter on a roll. It's a 5-game hit streak. You're right about the home run power, just number 3. He does have 37 doubles, but that pitch up and out over the plate, one of the better swings I'm sure Markakis has had as far as power all year.
So 1-0 Atlanta, and here is Daniel Castro. And Markakis, of course, had that great run as a Baltimore Oriole. Castro hitting second, playing second. He bangs one into center field. And the Braves, just like that, have come out firing.
It looks like they've come out aggressively, and that's what appears to be their approach against Jose. He's getting a talk right now. Jeff Mathis. How about the defense tonight? Brought to you by BMW. Dietrich in left made some great plays at third base last night. Yelich and Ozuna filling out the outfield. Martin Prado, welcome back, Martin. Rojas, D. Gordon, Justin Bohr around the infield, and Jeff Mathis behind the plate.
Freeman goes after a first pitch fastball. Jose humped it up to 97, and he fouls it off. Couple of stops on the DL, a rarity for Freeman this year. Still 17 homers for Freddie Gonzalez and the rebuilding Atlanta Braves. There's the breaking ball, and it's fouled back. Freeman and Jose have had some interesting and fun matchups over the last couple of seasons. 3 for 12 with a homer and a double. You got Castro, the runner, at first. Freeman deep in the box.
Jose, in his career against Atlanta, 5 starts, a 3-1 record, and a 132 earned run average. To take that a little further, Jose against the National League East in 20 starts is 8-2 and has a 164 ERA.
That one's over the head of Rojas.
And he is not fooling any of the Braves hitters so far. Those first 3 balls have all been hit on the nose.
And we'll see if Miami's 23-year-old is able to adjust.
Look where that pitch is. Very similar to the pitch that Markakis hit out. So right now Jose has the velocity, but the location's not there for him.
Chuck Hernandez watching. So a Markakis homer and loud singles from Castro and Freeman. Pierzynski.
Again, the pitch up.
A.J. Pierzynski has had a much better season and played in many more games than anybody would have imagined. That one out and up, and it's 2-0. Christian Bethancourt, of course, coming out of spring, was supposed to be the catcher, the everyday catcher for the Braves. Pierzynski, the insurance policy and the veteran presence, has ended up getting the bulk of the work.
I would say he's been one of the better insurance policies in the big leagues this year.
2-1.
The other thing about the base hits and making Jose work here, it just gets that pitch count going. He's probably 95, 100 pitches tonight.
His last time out, he dueled with Max Scherzer, 5 2/3, 2 runs, and punched out 8. Changeup, and that's fouled away.
There are those numbers in that outing against the Nationals. 95 pitches.
Gave up a Clint Robinson homer in the 2nd and a run in the 6th. Breaking ball foul back, and it's 2-2. Now the Braves, though their record is at 62-91, you see Andrelton Simmons waiting his turn. The Braves have some momentum coming in. They've won 5 of their last 6 games. They just gave the Mets all the Mets could have asked for. So they're playing hard. They've got a variety of pieces. Young players getting opportunities. Veteran players trying to earn jobs next year.
I'll tell you another thing the Braves have going. They've played 2 3-game series this year here at Marlins Park. They've swept both of them. They're 6-0. So they're very comfortable playing games here.
And this Pierzynski at bat, a long one now, and the location is still out and some of it up. And remember, Miami had a short start last night from Jared Kozart. Three-two, runners move, and Pierzynski fouls it at the plate.
Well, for a guy who has hit some home runs in his career, 184 career home runs, Pierzynski always a pretty good contact guy. 35 strikeouts is all in closing in on 400 at bats. So that's why the runners were going.
Another postseason for him last year with St. Louis. Runners hold. Pierzynski pulls it. And right now, all the momentum that you felt with Jose going out to the mound and all that buzz has kind of fallen a bit flat. Leadoff homer by Nick Markakis, and 2 line drive singles by Daniel Castro and Freddie Freeman. Pierzynski an extended at bat here, and a 3-2 again. Runners go. So 10 pitches already, and again, Tommy, you see where pitch number 10 was. Let her high.
It's almost a little quick. You get a little quick, you leave a lot of pitches up, and we've seen a lot of fastballs up from Jose.
Up the middle. Gordon gets a piece, and that's it. He'll save a run. The Marlins unable to get it out. And a base hit for Pierzynski. The Braves have opened this game with a homer and 3 singles.
just a matter of an inch or two. If this ball is picked by D. Gordon, it's a double play with Pierzynski running. It just gets out of his glove. Pierzynski with the infield hit, and just like that, bases loaded.
Bags loaded for Andrelton Simmons.
But again, a ball hit very sharply.
Simmons has missed some time this year. A strike. Braves trying to keep this momentum going. Jose Fernandez just trying to get a foothold, maybe get something to go right and then build on it. Infield back for two. There's nobody out. There's a roller wide at first. Bour gets it out there. The return to first is safe. Jose got to the bag, but Simmons beat the throw. A run scores. Miami gets an out, and the Braves have him at the corners.
Yeah, the only play, Justin Bour goes to second base to get the force there. Very difficult for a pitcher. Jose got over there as quickly as possible, but Simmons just outraced him. Chuck Hernandez trying to get Jose back, get him in that spot where he's been so often in this ballpark. I think twofold. I think to talk to him about that, and I think also because he's been working out there, 22 pitches, and he just had to race over to cover first base. I think just to kind of give him a little breather as well.
Well, he's got Cameron Maybin now, the former Marlin, former Padre. I guess the lesson in that ball strike ratio is not all strikes are created equal, right? The ones that are up are dangerous for pitchers.
They're not all quality strikes.
No. Maybin goes after a breaking ball. Maybin slumping a bit. He was on the, well, not on the disabled list. He missed 7 games with an abrasion to the cornea in his left eye. He's very good with runners in scoring position this year. He's got runners at the corners and 1 out.
A couple of good breaking balls to start Maybin with.
That's Alfonso Marquez behind the plate calling balls and strikes. When you call a game and when you televise a game, there's a natural rhythm to the game that starts from the very first pitch. And with Jose Fernandez, you can fall into that rhythm pretty quick. The Braves have absolutely disrupted any rhythm that Jose had to start this game. And this feels so foreign to watch. A 2-0 start for the Braves with runners at the corners and 1 out.
Foreign to watch, so you can imagine how it feels to Jose.
The 2-2. But as you talked about, Tommy, you have to give credit to the Braves who have come out with an aggressive approach. Remember, they took 2 of 3 in New York against the Mets, who obviously were trying everything to win those games and seal the East.
Now remember here, 0-2 was the count to Cameron Maybin.
Runner from first on the move. Another line drive center field. That falls for a hit. Another run is across. Freeman scores. Simmons ends up at third. And Maybin has the 5th hit of the inning for the Atlanta Braves.
He went 3-2 breaking ball, but he just hasn't hit spots. Go back to his 0-2 pitch. He missed badly. This one rolls middle of the plate, If it's off the plate, MAYBIN probably chases it. Good effort by Christian Yelich. He tries to decoy as if he's going to catch that ball. Nobody was biting.
So here is Hector Olivera. The Braves Cuban third baseman who came over in the trade with the Dodgers. The Braves are hopeful that his reputation and all the scouting reports from his international play and his play down in Cuba play out on the big league stage. He swings and misses at a slider. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. If all of those things come true, if he does become the player that he was in Cuba, the Braves will have themselves a really nice offensive piece for a while. A 31 pitch inning already for Fernandez. And remember, the backdrop of this game comes after last night, a 4-inning start by Jared Cozart and a tag team bullpen effort which saw 5 pitchers throw 5 scoreless innings. So even though the pen is stocked with arms because of the September call-ups and roster expansion, the bullpen had to work a lot and worked quite well last night.
And at this rate, you don't look to see Jose go 4 innings. The last time, Rich, he allowed 3 runs in the first inning was back in May 2013 at Dodger Stadium.
Two and 2 to Oliveira. MAYBIN at first, Simmons at third. He reaches out and hits a fly ball to the left. Not too deep. Dietrich makes the catch. Runner tags. The throw goes to second. And Simmons comes across. And the Braves push across run number 4. So 4-0 Atlanta. And for Jose Fernandez, the first time in his young career, and this is start number 46, that he's ever allowed more than 3 runs in a first inning.
You know, the amazing thing, you mentioned it, in his young career, we forget that. His opposing pitcher tonight, Ryan Weber, who's making his 4th major league start, is 25 years old, a young pitcher. Jose still just 23.
Bourne pops it up. Dietrich under it, and he makes the catch. Atlanta comes out swinging, and they put 4 quick ones up on the board. getting ready to lead it off. Jay Alexis brings you Miami's lineup. Gordon leadoff spot. Christian Yelich second. Nice to have Martin Prado hitting third, playing third. Justin Bour hits cleanup. Marcell Ozuna in the 5 spot. Derek Dietrich in left. Jeff Mathis to start tonight. Miguel Rojas hitting 8th. Then Jose Fernandez in the 9 spot.
And there is a look at that 25-year-old we were talking about. Ryan Weber was in AA and AAA this year. Did a little bit of everything. Was in 38 games, started 9, had 4 saves, making his 4th major league start.
Described as a diminutive dart thrower by some. He's got D. Gordon, Christian Yelich, Martin Prado, and Gordon takes a strike.
One of the things Weber has done in his first 3 major league starts, he's gone 6 or more innings.
Gordon shortens the butt. It's a fastball, a called strike. D back for a chat. It looked like a pretty good pitch, and it was.
Not too many times D. Gordon has gone hitless. He was 0 for 3 last night. Did drop down a sacrifice bunt.
9 points behind Bryce Harper in the batting race as things start. Yunel Escobar of the Nationals is 4 points behind Gordon at 326. And as well, Gordon is 4 back of Billy Hamilton, who is out for the rest of the season for that top spot in stolen bases. Gordon reaches down. Freddie Freeman there to get it, and he's safe. He beat him. A little hustle, a little speed, and an infield hit.
Boy, that's just flat out speed by D. Gordon. Really nothing else Freddie Freeman could do. He couldn't get to the bag. He has to flip to his pitcher, and by a half a step, D. Gordon beats him. So hit number 191, and it's his 100th hit against the National League East this year.
Tom Hallion, the first base umpire. Now Yelich. And Weber runs that one out.
You'd love to see the Marlins get on the scoreboard. Just answer back, whether it's 1 run, 2. Just get back in the game early.
Gordon bluffs. And a strike called
on a changeup from Weber.
Yelich sits at 288. A 1 for 4 last night.
Let's show you the scouting report on Ryan Weber. Good command, saw his changeup, movement and location. He needs that, and some say he's a poor man's Chris Medlin. So I thought about that, and I said, well, Medlin was a poor man's Greg Maddux. So that puts Weber in his young career maybe a notch below Medlin right now.
But a guy certainly that has had to earn every scrap out of St. Petersburg. Marlins are headed to St. Pete to see the Rays come Monday.
Clearwater Catholic High School, I believe that's the same high school Howard Johnson went to.
Yelich in the right field. That's a base hit. If it gets to the wall, Gordon might score. Markakis picks it up. Gordon to third. He'll stop there. Markakis got it in quickly. And Miami is set up second and third for Christian Yelich. Double number 25 on the season.
You love the way the Marlins are answering back. There's that fastball. He likes to start off the plate inside and then get the inside corner. But this time it drifted over the middle of the plate. Christian Yelich with that solid swing. Yelich has hit right around 380 this year against the Atlanta Braves.
You can see Gordon did not get a clean start. He had to make sure he didn't get hit by the ball.
Oh, look out.
So now Prado, infield's back, and then Weber steps off. Prado, ever the professional, entered last night's ball game, banged out a hit in the 8th. Has himself back in the starting lineup. And he puts one into right field. That's a hit. Gordon scores. Yelich around third. Markakis has a great arm. And he'll hold at third. Miami's on the board as the Marlins have 3 consecutive hits to start this game. How about this?
Yeah, if you like offense, hang around for this one. We saw Prado in a pinch hit role last night get a base hit. Back in the lineup. He's trying just to go the other way. He figures, well, if I hit a ball on the ground, at least the run will score. I'll move a runner. And he ends up getting himself a base hit. 7 for his last 14 is Martin Prado.
So a little station-to-station baseball for Miami. And they take a bite out of the 4-0 lead with an opportunity for a few more. Yelich and Prado on the corners, and here is BOURN.
Yeah, there's really no sense in sending Yelich there. Nobody out. Got BOURN coming up. Markakis with a strong arm.
Weber, a guy that likes to nibble and pick, goes after that outside part and misses to BOURN. Right at Major League average. And that's out even further. We've seen pitchers, Tommy, especially in the last 3 weeks, really attack BOURN by not attacking him, by drifting off the outside part, trying to get him to chase.
Plus, we've seen Weber throw a changeup, and BOURN has seen his fill of changeups over the last couple of months.
Changeup driven, right field empty. This game is tied. Just like that. Unbelievable.
Numero 20 for Justin BOURN. Talked about the changeup. Yeah, the belly bump. That was a changeup, 82 miles an hour. He's seen so many of them, he was ready for that one.
And the happiest guy in there is Jose Fernandez right now, who gave up 4 runs in the top of the inning. Miami answers back with 4 of their own, and there's nobody out.
There's the changeup. It fades away, but the big guy was all over it. Oh.
To Ozuna, a little tapper. Weber off the mound, bare hands it, throws it away, and down the line it goes. Ozuna on his way to second.
That'll be a base hit, and then an error charge to Weber, I'm sure, allowing Ozuna to take second base. A little swinging bunt is the description of this. Good job by Marcell Ozuna. A lot of times when you're the runner, it's hard to pick up where that ball goes. A quick turn by Ozuna. He sees where the ball goes and ends up at second base.
That throw is so wild that Freddie Freeman didn't even want to venture into the baseline. And so both starters rocked in the first. Derek Dietrich. And even Jose is stunned. Dietrich had a nice series against the Phils. He was 4 for 10. And of course, last night in the 7th, in a scoreless game, beat out a little dribbler up the third base side and then hustled home on the Real Muto triple. That was the only run of the game. That was the only run that the Marlins bullpen needed. Dietrich, a chopper over the middle, and he's out by a step. Ozuna ends up 90 feet away.
But a good job by Dietrich. He was able to move Ozuna. Let's check on that defense. There's been so much offense, we haven't had an opportunity. Defense brought to you by BMW. Michael Bourn, Cameron Maybin, Nick Markakis in that outfield. Hector Olivera, Andrelton Simmons, Daniel Castro, Freddie Freeman around the infield. Veteran A.J. Pierzynski does the catching.
And just like that, the Braves have action in their bullpen. Sugar Ray is up. Sugar Ray Marimon. Jeff Mathis infield in. You know,
how about this?
Yeah. I mean, not often do you see the infield in with 8 runs combined in less than an inning. But the Braves trying to choke off the run. Mathis trying to drive it in.
Yeah, not often do you see each team with 4 runs and 5 hits. And we're not done with the first.
Busted bat, runner coming home, throw to the plate, he is out. The tag by Pierzynski. Ozuna sliding by the plate, looked like he tried to get it with his hand.
Going on contact, so you're told as a runner, as soon as the ball's hit, take off. Simmons, the Gold Glover, just makes a great play. And there's the tag, the catch and tag, and he certainly is out. You put the pressure on the infield, going on contact, you have to make a perfect throw, and Simmons did that.
So here's Rojas, and Mathis is at first. That's into center field. Well struck by Rojas. Mathis will stop there. And who would have thought Jose Fernandez would get an at bat this half inning? But here he comes with runners first and second, 2 outs.
Last 14 games now for Miguel Rojas, about a .330 average. He has defensively and offensively just been spectacular.
Well, Fernandez certainly can handle the bat. He has a home run. That home run came against the Giants in his first game back this season.
Remember, I think it was it's hard to forget his first career home run against the Atlanta Braves
back in 2013.
Created a little excitement.
Just a bit. Slow bouncer. Simmons on to first in time to get the out. Well, what do we have here? 4 runs for the Braves in the top of the inning. 4 runs for the Marlins in the bottom half. Down 4-0. The Fish up off the canvas. The big blow. The big man, Justin Bour, a 3-run shot.
por West Kendall Toyota.
Well, now comes the test for both Jose Fernandez and Ryan Weber. Can they regroup? Can they get outs? Fernandez gets to face Weber, and then on to Markakis and Castro. Atlanta came out swinging, banged out 4 hits. First 4 guys, including a homer by Nick Markakis. Miami came out swinging, 5 hits, first 5 hitters. And Jose gets a strikeout to open up the second.
Well, I think that was a good thing that he's able to kind of get back into where he wanted to be in the first inning and face the opposing pitcher, first hitter. He was able to just relax and make some good pitches.
Well, here's Markakis. Neither home run a cheapie. Markakis was a laser line drive over the right center field wall, just as the wall starts to gain altitude out towards center. And Bour, of course, took care of that changeup, powdered it to left or to right. Rojas gets the out. So there are 2 outs. Tomorrow night, it's the final Saturday spectacular of the season. Marlins and Braves at 7:10. Hispanic Heritage Night, powered by South Florida Ford. You can pick up all-you-can-eat seats for just $35. Go to marlins.com and get your seats today. Fastball in to Daniel Castro. Jose's workload pretty substantial right now. This is pitch number 44.
That's why he'd love to have a low pitch, quick inning here in the second.
35 in the first inning. That number 10 of the second.
Velocity's not been the issue. It's all been about command, and that was a good pitch there. Good location.
To right, Ozuna. 11 pitch inning. Jose restores some order in a 4-4 game. Both teams with 4 runs in their half of the first inning.
This is one that you needed to make sure you were settled into your seat for the first inning.
D. Gordon will lead it off again here in the second. And remember, Gordon, an infield hit. His ground ball drew Freddie Freeman away from the bag, and he beat Ryan Weber to first. And that is how the 4-run Marlin inning started.
And for Weber, it was all about location.
Gordon's bunt, that's a fair ball. Krasinski will throw him out.
And we talked about Weber. In his case, he has to have the location because he certainly doesn't have overpowering stuff.
Aside from the Justin Bour homer, Christian Yelich's double, the second best hit and the second hardest hit ball of that first. Yelich drove it hard over the head of Freeman, and it got to the wall before Markakis could get there. And Weber opens up 2-0 against Miami's left fielder slash center fielder. More left than center this year. Three and 0. Prado had an RBI single in that first. And Yelich, a very patient walk. Remember, the resurgence of the Marlins and Martin Prado came when he was moved into the 3 spot, and for whatever reason, he has flourished there.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and that you can bump that up a little bit because he's 1 for 1 tonight. For whatever reason, it has just worked. That's one of those things that are hard to pinpoint.
We saw that bottom note when he has an RBI from this spot. Miami is 14-1.
And the Marlins suffered for that a little bit with him out of the lineup. But going into last night, they were 1-4 when he did not start.
Yeah, the offense did fall flat, and there was some fear and actually some reports that Prado might not be back this year, that wrist injury might take him through the rest of this season and keep him out of the lineup. But he got in there last night late, had a base hit, and he's in the starting lineup tonight.
They have 2 key players on each team that have had wrist issues. Freddie Freeman for the Braves, he's missed some time with a right wrist injury, and for Prado it's his left wrist.
Giancarlo Stanton obviously still dealing with that sore hand after surgery. Prado lifts it to right. Markakis makes the catch, and Bour gets another at bat here with 2 outs and 1 on. T-Mobile every night is looking for a strong fan photo, and if you've got a strong fan or a strong fan photo, hashtag it FL Data Strong Fan and send it on out to Twitter or Instagram. We'll gather them up, and later in the telecast we'll have the strongest fan photo of the night.
Rich, Justin Bour has made the most of his home runs. He has hit 7 3-run homers, so he's just not pecking away with solo shots. He's hit 7 3-run homers.
Yelich runs. Krasinski's throw, and out at second. An incredible pick and tag by ANDRELTON Simmons. And no argument from Yelich. Simmons One of the, if not the very best at that play right there. The Marlins are going to take a look at it.
Not too many times. He looked like he stepped right on the glove. Not too many times Yelich has been thrown out. 16 steals, have been caught 5 times.
How about that? A scoreless inning. Third inning, Jose Fernandez, a breaking ball, misses out to Freddie Freeman. 4-4 Braves Marlins, and it all happened in the first. And it left both starting pitchers a little shell-shocked. Fernandez would come out and get a 1-2-3 11 pitch second.
Think about it too, the 4 runs off Jose here at Marlins Park, where in 25 starts at home, we know he's undefeated, 16-0, but the ERA 1.11. Took a changeup, 92 on a changeup,
and a 3-0 swing by Freddie Freeman. Freeman's had some wrist issues. His liner finds the glove of Justin Bourne. Back to the Future night, Tommy Hutton, Doc and Marty.
Doc and Marty.
The DeLorean is out there.
Is that an autographed DeLorean?
Michael J. Fox.
Wow.
Christopher Lloyd. Doc. And I believe that's from Orlando, right? Oh, excuse me, Tampa. A.J. Pierzynski. Andrelton Simmons. Oh yeah, that's right. Pierzynski's from Orlando. That DeLorean's from Tampa. This guy's from Tampa. Alonzo High School. D. Gordon from north of Orlando makes the play and gets the out.
Yeah, Pierzynski, Dr. Phillips High School in Orlando. I believe Johnny Damon out of Dr. Phillips.
Then they better have great facilities up there, because you got 2 guys that made some coin.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And had long careers.
Take care of the high school kids.
Now Simmons sweeping breaking ball for a strike.
Can you see the difference? A little more fluid. Stuff is down. Good breaking ball there to Simmons. Spotting a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
That one nudged up right up against the black.
You know, you see Jose as we have over the last 2+ years, and you think, well, what more can he learn? You know what? This is a great learning process right here. Giving up those 4 in the first inning. Get up, big guy.
Justin Bour. Big man with some hops. Some love from the glove and a 3-run bomb. So far, it's been a nice night to beat Justin Bour. With his 20 homers, has done a ton of damage. 3-run home runs are Toyota trend. Bour now among the major league leaders. Brett Gardner, Brian McCann, David Ortiz, all with 7 3-run homers, and now Bour has 7. His 7th came in the first inning.
Think about McCann and Gardner playing in a little bit of a bandbox in that new Yankee Stadium. And so many times people will say, well, this guy hits all these solo shots. Justin Bour, that has not been him this year.
66 runs driven in.
7 3-run shots, 1 2-run homer.
His night so far. That the homer, that sweet, short, compact swing. A tap of the belly. And some hops. Now a 2-2. Fastball up and in. So Tommy Hutton 3-2. Will he get that changeup again?
I think he might, but you certainly can't look for it.
Whoa! Scorching liner. Foul! Just fouled. Bour around first, and he's looking down the line. That is a reviewable play. And the Marlins certainly will look at it, and we will likewise.
This was 89. It was a little down from the fastball.
It's clearly on this side of the foul pole.
Kind of like a BP fastball or a changeup that was a little heavy, had too much on it. But what a rocket hit by Justin Bour.
All right, now that he's done that, what will he get here?
Weber may be thinking about that right now.
Bourn lines it left center field. That's a hit, and it's in the gap.
There. Lot of room.
The big man is rumbling towards second, and he's in there.
Oh, the crowd loves Justin Bourn. Great hitting, pitch off the plate. He doesn't try to pull it, and he finds that big gap in left center field. Take a peek. Yeah.
So he's in scoring position. Now Ozuna with Dietrich behind him. Ozuna bounces one. Oliveira a dive on his feet, and he's not going to get him. It's a base hit. Hector Oliveira left his feet, and it took him a while to get back up on him.
Not sure if he caught it cleanly. That may have been part of the reason. And it'll be the second infield hit. I believe this will be a hit. He doesn't quite have it. See, it comes out of the glove, and he tries to grab it. And while he does all that, Marcell Ozuna scooting up the line gets himself his second infield hit.
Well, it took a big hop as well before it got to him. Dietrich now. And a changeup from Weber is in.
Rich, I have to throw this out there. Justin Bourn just a triple and single away from the cycle.
Well, the triple could be interesting. The single I can see. Couple change-ups, and Dietrich, nice job to take them both. R. Kelly. No, not that R. Kelly.
This would be Ryan Kelly.
Remember, Sugar Ray Morimon was up back in that first inning. Well, he got the fastball and fouled it back. Jeff Mathis on deck. 4 runs in the first for Atlanta, 4 runs in the first for Miami. And the Marlins threatening here in the third. Change up into left. That's a hit. Bourn as far as third, and he'll stop there.
Boy, that's just some outstanding hitting. We've seen that all night from just about every Marlins hitter. But Derek Dietrich stayed back. Little 4-game hitting streak now, and just pounds that changeup the other way.
A visit from A.J. Pierzynski. And Freddie Gonzalez has seen enough. It'll be Ryan Kelly coming in to face Jeff Mathis with the bags loaded and nobody out. Kendall Toyota called to the pen. Brian Kelly in. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced, retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins.
Boy, the Braves over the last few weeks have had to go to their bullpen a lot. For Ryan Kelly, this is his 8th appearance this month out of the bullpen. Overall, you can see 16 games. A jet-like ERA. 7.47.
Wasn't quite sure where you're going with that. Whether it was a New York Jet or a Boeing jet. But I like it. Bags loaded. Infield's back. Mathis up. He got a fastball first pitch and fouls it back. Well, big opportunity for Miami right now. AJ Pierzynski got clipped on that foul tip, and Alfonso Marquez is buying him some time to collect himself.
Well, you have a couple of veteran catchers up there. Mathis understands. Marquez certainly has been around enough. He understands.
Mathis down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Scoring is Bourn. Ozuna behind him. He'll score. Here comes Dietrich. He's going to score.
Jeff Mathis comes up big. Clears the bases.
(7-4) Miami.
You talk about some huge base hits tonight. The 3-run homer by Justin Bour, and now a bases clearing double by Jeff Mathis. Mathis came into the game tonight, his last 4 starts hitting right around 290, and just ups that a little bit more with this double here.
Still nobody out. Here is Rojas. He takes a shot at the right side and fouls it back. Rojas singled back in the first. Miami has already knocked out 10 hits and has 7 runs. 3 doubles and a home run in those 10 hits. Ryan Weber responsible for all 3 runs that have scored here. Kelly fires it to third. Mathis gets tagged out. Rojas survives at first. The only way to guarantee access to the 2017 All-Star Game at Marlins Park is by placing a 2016 season ticket deposit down now. 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com/tickets. Jose Fernandez squares to bunt and then steps out. Somebody from somewhere yelled, and Jose stepped out of the box. Even AJ Pierzynski's looking around. No one's quite sure where that yell came from. Pitch a strike.
Well, Rich, Met fans can feel a little better. They have a 4-0 lead in Cincinnati. And how about the Phillies in Washington? The Phillies up 6-1. We just saw Aaron Altair. He's homered twice against Jordan Zimmerman, one of them a grand slam.
Jose pulls back, rolls up third base side, and Kelly gets him.
The grand slam, I'm told by Altair, an inside the park grand slam. Wow.
Not a sacrifice, but it has the same results. And D. Gordon's up for the third time tonight. D. Gordon's up. It's just the third inning. In that ball game, Bryce Harper is 0 for 2. His average at .337. Gordon 1 for 2. He's at .330, and that one's going to sneak up the middle. Big turn. Rojas is caught off on the throw behind him, coming to the plate, and he's tagged out. Gordon gets a hit, but the Marlins make a mistake at third base. 7-4 Fish. But in watching the play, he was picking up his third base coach the whole way.
Watch Lenny Harris wave him around. He's waving, he's waving, he's waving. He's around the bag. Then he gets the stop sign. You see Lenny put his head down. He knew what happened.
Randai vision cam on that. We check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Well, it is a pleasure to be with Randy Moeller, and I hope you get used to this because we're back together on the Panther pregame postgame this year.
Looking forward to it, Craig. A lot of fun, and the team's going to be a lot better this year. The most improved team in the National Hockey League last year, the Florida Panthers, are going to start it off on the 10th against the Philadelphia Flyers.
October 10th will be our opener. We'll have a 1-hour pregame on Fox Sports Florida at 6 o'clock. Camp is going well. There's some exciting stories. You got the youngster who was out here, hit a homer, Lawson Krause, trying to make a team. David Booth is back. Luongo.
Yeah, we're excited about the season, and the young players, the core of this hockey club, are going to carry the Florida Panthers this year, and hopefully we're going to have some playoff hockey here in South Florida.
Well, that's the big question. The Panthers last year were close. Now you got to knock the door down, get to the playoffs.
Yeah, Jaromir Jagr, we're going to have him for the full year. 43 years old. He's going to be on that top line with Huberdeau and Barkov. They should score a lot of the goals, supply a lot of the offense, as well as the Rookie of the Year, Aaron Ekblad. I'm excited about seeing him in his second year.
Opening night is October 10th against the Philadelphia Flyers. The 1-hour pregame. We'll do all 41 home games with a pre and post game. Randy will be on the road as well. All the games will be on Fox Sports Florida. Randy's going to be between the benches as well, which is going to be fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun until I get hit by a slap shot between the benches. Down I'll go, back up I'll get, and hopefully be able to continue to call the game. I'm looking forward to calling it with Goldie and Denny Potvin as well. We're going to have a lot of fun.
It's going to be fun during the hockey season, guys. Randy, did you ever play baseball?
A little bit when I was younger and that, but you know what? I couldn't hit the bender.
Ah, the curveball. But you could hit other guys when you became an NHL defenseman. How many years did you play in the NHL?
13 years.
13 years. And you were telling Niner, we were joking about stitches, and be careful. Did you get over 100 stitches?
Oh, yeah, well over 100 stitches and that, but still have the original nose and the original teeth.
And plenty of makeup on camera for him, too. All right, Randy, good seeing you. We'll see you very soon. It's 2 weeks from tomorrow night.
Looking forward to working with you, my friend.
Okay. All right, guys, Panther hockey's coming at you. Less than 2 weeks. One more preseason game at home, and that'll be, what, a week from tomorrow night, right?
Tomorrow night, yeah, against the Stanley Cup champion finals, the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Oh, one other thing. Tomorrow's a nice event for charity. Coral Springs Police and Fire Departments will be playing along with Panther alumni in a special game. It's called Bucks for Pucks.
Yes, it is, and that's going to be tomorrow night at the Panthers Ice Den in Coral Springs, 5 to 7. It's only $15 at the door. Raises a lot of great money for the police and the fire department for the Coral Springs community chest. A lot of Ed Jovanovski, Thomas Vokoun, Radek Dvorak, Billy Lindsay. A lot of the alumni are going to be participating in the game.
That's tomorrow night. Again, it's at the Panther Ice Den. That's the Panther practice facility in Coral Springs. That's tomorrow night. Guys, at 5 o'clock. You get your tickets in. I think it's $10 now or $15 at the door, and it's a great charity. All right, that's it for us, guys. Let's go up to you.
I can just see Randy Moeller, the Red Deer Little League in Red Deer, Alberta.
You know, he's so low key.
Michael Bourn at the plate. And Bourn sneaks one through the left side for a hit, and that follows up Hector Olivera's base hit. The Braves have a couple runners on here in the fourth. And Atlanta will hit for the pitcher. It's Todd Cunningham, a switch hitter. Cunningham pinch hitting here in the fourth. That means Ryan Kelly is done. Sugar Ray Marimon back up in the bullpen. There's been a lot of damage here tonight. By a lot of offenses, yes. 11 runs and 18 hits combined in just 3 1/3 innings.
I would say, just in watching Jose tonight, especially after he got through that first inning, we've seen him go to that changeup a little bit more than in some of the other games. That's a good pitch.
Especially when you couple it with that.
Yeah. He's such a bulldog on the mound. He's been able to bounce back so far after that first inning.
Breaking ball, liner, left, Dietrich dives. Did he get it? Yes! Derek Dietrich. Glove out. You saw a lot of white, which was the baseball. Was it in his glove cleanly, or did he trap it?
He made 2 outstanding defensive plays at third base last night. Goes to the bigger glove. No trap. Caught it all the way and hung on. Not a bad landing either. I think he's really starting to settle in and feel comfortable wherever he is out there. He's always comfortable in the batter's box.
Now Markakis, who is homered and bounced out.
The amazing thing about the way the Braves jumped on Jose tonight, in his previous 25 starts here at Marlins Park, he had never allowed as many as four runs total.
His home ERA in those 25 starts, 1.11. That's going to go up. But if he can get through this inning and then get through the fifth, and Miami holds the lead, Jose will go to 17-0 at home. That's out. And it's 2-1. But he's got a long way to get there. Jose working so hard he's popped right out of his shirt. 2-1 is out. And now it's 3-1. Well, that was the question we asked, which was which pitcher could adjust. That's the start of the game. All buttoned. Now he's busting out all over. That chain has popped right out. Jeff Mathis out for a visit. But this is not something that Jose Fernandez has had to endure much, and that is getting his mouth bloodied, so to speak, at the start of a game.
Getting visits as often as he has, a couple of times tonight from Jeff Mathis, from his catcher.
But if you watch his demeanor, he's been pretty steady throughout. He didn't panic in that first inning. Came back and went 1-2-3 in the second. Another 1-2-3 in the third. Couple hits here. 3-1 coming. Popped up. Prado finds the wall, reaches and got it. Martin Prado. And Jose Fernandez strands two with a little help from his third baseman, the former Brave, Martin Prado. 7-4, Miami. Is brought to you by your local Chevy dealers. Visit your South Florida Chevy dealers today. And by Checkers, epic meals, epic deals. Wild one in Miami. Braves put 4 on the board before everybody had found their seat. Miami put 4 more up in the bottom of the first. And the third Braves pitcher to work is in now, Sugar Ray Marimon. Christian Yelich, Martin Prado, Justin Bour.
Yeah, we actually saw Marimon warming up earlier. And then Freddie Gonzalez went to Ryan Kelly.
So the Braves have brought out of their bullpen R. Kelly and Sugar Ray. Yelich fouls it back to the screen. Three-run homer by Justin Bour.
Might be a concert you'd want to look into.
I would say yes. South Florida Honda dealers bring you Marlins Live tomorrow night on Saturday night. Yelich. That's another extra base hit. Into the gap, all the way to the wall. Yelich thinking three, not stopping, on his way, and there. Man, does he scoot around the bases.
As he was approaching second base, you knew what was going through his mind. He knows that outfield. He plays left field or center field. He knows all the room that's there. Strokes this ball into left center. It gets all the way to the scoreboard. Once it does that, he's thinking about it as he gets towards second base. And then those long strides just kick in. Right about here. Now he just puts his head down, knows he's going to take that slide, hang on to the bag.
Here's Prado now. Infield halfway on the right side. Ball scoots by Pierzynski, but Yelich didn't have a clean look at it. And with nobody out, Prado and Bour lined up. A wise move to stay anchored. Now, you noted, Tommy Hutton, about an inning ago that Justin Bour was a triple and a single away from the cycle. Yelich now just needs a single and a homer.
He's getting in the game right here.
Down the right field line, Markakis, and into the corner. He emerges without the baseball.
If you had to pick an ideal hitter on the Marlins roster right now to hit for the cycle, it would be Christian Yelich.
And he has the triple out of the way, which is the tough one to get. Prado, another line drive hit. 8-4 Miami.
Ended the inning making a terrific catch into the stands and gets himself an RBI base hit, his second hit tonight. Just solid. Just thinking about Yelich's triple though, Rich, as you see Prado's base hit. For Christian Yelich, it was just his second triple. JT Realmuto has 7.
Here is Bour, a 3-run homer and a leadoff double. A strike from Marimon. Prado dives back. Lots going on in baseball tonight. And one of the most interesting games tonight is in Houston. Texas and Houston. It's 1-0 Rangers in the second. Bour swings and misses. At stake there, the American League West title. The Rangers have a 3.5 game lead. If they take 2 of 3, or if they sweep, they could almost put it away. Bour over the middle. That's into center. Now he's got the single. PRADO on his way to third. Justin Bour is 3 for 3. Homer, double, single.
And you just know when he gets back in the dugout, guys are going to be talking to him about that triple. That was an 0-2 pitch, too. It's one thing that we've seen him grow as a hitter. Much better knowledge of the zone, how pitchers are going to pitch him. We saw him hit a changeup out for a home run with 2 strikes. Didn't try to do a whole lot there.
Jose Fernandez, remember that first inning, the top of, he came to the dugout down 4-0. A feeling he'd never had in the big leagues. Ozuna hits one hard to third, out at second. The turn is in time. Another run comes across as PRADO scores.
This time, the runner at third is Martin PRADO. He's not going on contact. He wants to wait and see what the third baseman is going to do. As soon as he sees Oliveira start the double play, he comes in to score. With nobody out, that's the play that most runners are going to do. You're not going to go on contact with nobody out.
9-4 Miami. Dietrich takes changeup out. Bags are cleared now. 2 more here in the 4th for the Fish.
Marlins have 14 base hits.
In case you're wondering, in his entire professional life, Justin Bour has just 2 triples, both in A-ball, 2010 in Peoria, 2011 with Daytona. So there's that. But having watched what we've seen tonight, no telling what will happen next. Dietrich to the wall. MAYBIN collects it. Dietrich will hold at second. One thing you got to remember on that play is you've got the best relay arm in baseball in ANDRELTON SIMMONS.
And you have 2 out, and Dietrich doesn't have Yelich's speed. He runs well, and a good decision on his part. MAYBIN races over. This ball a little different too. It gets to the wall quicker, and MAYBIN plays it off nicely and got it in a hurry. So good job by Dietrich. Again, super hitting. Remember, his single was that way, and now his double into left center.
Four doubles, a triple, and a homer among Miami's 15 hits here tonight. Mathis had a 3-run double.
You know, there's some guys like, you love watching D. Gordon run because he's so fast. We love watching Christian Yelich with his strides. I love watching Derek Dietrich because it's a hard hustle run every time.
Well, there you go, Tommy.
See, we get to watch it again. He checks it out, takes a turn. He's thinking about 3, but then makes the right decision.
Mathis clobbers one. That's deep, and it gets by MAYBIN. Mathis to second. Ball's in the triangle. Mathis has got a triple. This is unbelievable. Another guy with a shot for a cycle. He's got a double and a triple.
You talk about a good feeling for a good guy, Jeff Mathis. How about the night he's had just out of the reach of MAYBIN into that deepest part of the ballpark. 4 RBIs tonight for Jeff Mathis.
Here now is Rojas. Well, 3 Brave pitchers have taken some hits. Marimon, 3 runs on 5 hits. He's recorded 2 outs.
Yeah, the good part about this too is that everybody in the Marlins lineups, the starting 8, has joined the party. Everybody has at least 1 base hit.
Tommy, the Marlins are on a 10-0 run right now. Rojas pulls one foul. Ten runs on 16 hits already. Another one. Another hit. Another run.
It's like the crowd has gotten a little out of gas. They've been cheering so much. Change up, and it stays up, and once again Miguel Rojas with a terrific swing.
Well, that Rojas swing, you could follow the spin of the ball in and the spin of the ball out.
Well, after that first half inning, there it is, turns it over, and then it just turns around the other way.
Markakis is under it, makes the catch. Miami adds 4. A big night for the Fish. After trailing 4-0, it's 11-4. when Miami won the ball game 1-0. And remember how the night ended last night with Miguel Rojas venturing into left field.
Well, you talk about covering a lot of territory. Watch this from Miguel Rojas on this pop fly. Remember, the outfield playing deep, no doubles, so Yelich was very deep in left field. Rojas able to get there, not sure if Yelich could have gotten there, and he makes an over-the-shoulder catch. That was along with a terrific diving play he made earlier in the game up the middle. We talked about the two plays that Derek Dietrich made at third base. Great plays, great defense last night.
Some would say it was Miami's best defensive game of the year. Jose Fernandez misses in. Daniel Castro, Freddie Freeman, A.J. Pierzynski in the fifth. High pop. Rojas is out there again. Not nearly as dramatic. Rojas says, hey, where were you?
Dietrich just saying, I know you can make that catch. I saw it last night.
Geico with a Marlins moment tonight. 2007, Dontrelle Willis broke A.J. Burnett's career strikeout record. He struck out 7 Cubs to set the record. Freeman into right field for a hit. 2 hits for Freddie Freeman. And that brings up Pierzynski. Mets lead is still 4-0. It's bottom 6 in Cincinnati. There really isn't a whole lot of drama around that race now. The Nationals are limping home, just 4 games over at 78 and 74, and they trail the Phillies tonight 6-2 in the 7th. And that game is in D.C. Seven and a half back with just over a week to play.
Well, you look back at that Nationals team. I mentioned it last night. The Papelbon effect. They were 52-45. They had a game lead when they acquired Jonathan Papelbon. They've gone 26-29 since he arrived. Not putting all the blame on him, but it's, to me, just one of those chemistry things.
Yeah, it brings up an interesting point. In this day and age where the role of the manager has, in print and in discussion and in some places, been diminished, and managers at times now have to defer to general managers and all of that. In that case, then, how come general managers don't take more heat and the manager is still?
Because the manager's out there in front of everybody in uniform. The GM can go behind closed doors.
Yeah, but now people are writing and saying, and some have great points, that hey, that it's the general managers that are the rock stars, the Billy Beans and Mike Rizzos and guys like that, and rightfully so in many cases. Those guys are the rock stars. They're the ones that are the, calling the shots. Well, if that's the case, how come those guys don't take heat when a team turns sour, when, as you pointed out, the chemistry doesn't work or whatever doesn't work? The focus is still on the manager. If you're going to diminish the manager's importance, you're going to have to diminish the manager's blame. True?
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you.
Bouncer to third, and it gets under the glove of Prado. Down the line it goes. Dietrich will pick it up. Freeman will lope home. Pierzynski pulls in at third, and Simmons is aboard what would probably be a double.
Yeah, I think Martin was thinking about pick, step on the bag, and get the double play. He doesn't quite get there. He was thinking about a double play, and the ball got by him, and all of a sudden now you want Jose to get through this inning, but the pitch count getting up, more stress here in this inning. Double all the way for Simmons.
Cameron MAYBIN fouls it back and out of play.
Bullpen getting busy now.
Brian Ellington. 90th pitch is a strike to Cameron MAYBIN. And those numbers for Jose Fernandez accelerated by that long first inning. I believe it was 35 pitches. Yeah, there it is. Asking it pops up.
Did a good job in the second and third, 11 and 12.
Very nice catch by the gentleman in the black polo.
Yeah, interesting. Just 2 strikeouts for Jose. Just 1 walk.
Gave it right to the young man next to him. MAYBIN, left center. Yelich calling. Both runners tag. And Pierzynski will score. And so the Braves push across 2 here in the 5th.
Oliveira having a good night. Sac fly, a base hit.
His sac fly back in the first. He singled in the 4th. A lot of mystery around him. The Dodgers signed him for a lot of money. And I think a lot of people were surprised that they quickly included him in the deal to the Braves. And the Dodgers ate a lot of that large signing bonus, upwards of $60 million. Jose misses away. Oliveira, 30 years old, signed for $62.5 million with the Dodgers, and that was in March of this year. Gordon out, Ozuna in, and it's Ozuna who makes the catch. Braves tack on 2. They're still a ways away, and that might be it for Jose Fernandez. Jose Fernandez right now talking to the authenticator. Major League Baseball. That baseball might be worth something by the end of the night. Back to the future night. Let's go back to Craig Minervini.
Yeah, well, I think this is worth something. It's a DeLorean from 1983. Jim Carroll is the owner, and he had it back to the futurized, if you will. And we're going to first start it with the, this is the time.
Turn on the time circuits.
Here's the time circuits, guys. Ready? And we're in business.
We're in business. We're going back to when the Marlins won the World Series.
Look at the dates here. If you can see the date the Marlins won the World Series in '97 and in 2003.
That's correct. Game 6 and Game 7.
What about this car? You had a DeLorean a few years ago. Your honeymoon wife said, "Okay, you could make it look like Back to the Future."
That's right. I had one too many drinks, and my wife said, "Go ahead, Jimmy, you can do whatever you want." And sure enough, I remembered it, and I started buying parts that night.
And how long did it take to do it? And tell us about some of the unique parts that you have here.
Well, total, it took about probably about 6 months to find everything, to build everything. Some of the parts that I bought come from France. This clock was actually the hardest part. The clock that Doc Brown puts on the dash on part 1, I had that flown all the way from Austria.
And you also have this autograph, too, by the actors as we look around here. We'll open up here. You have Michael J. Fox right here. And you have Christopher Lloyd on your side.
That's correct. Yep, Christopher Lloyd on the driver's side and Michael J. Fox on the passenger side.
You can actually drive this car, right?
Absolutely. It's street legal.
What do people say when they see this car?
Oh, it's like they're brought back to childhood, just a huge smile on their face, and honestly, that's why I do it.
All right, guys, pretty neat here in the DeLorean. Who would have thought you could go back to the future tonight? And, of course, that memorable scene in that movie when they said the Chicago Cubs would be a Miami team and win the World Series.
Yeah, hey, let's hope, let's reverse the future and let's go Miami.
They didn't know, of course, that Miami would wind up with a franchise in the National League, guys. Back to you.
Is the flux capacitor standard equipment, or is that an extra? There goes D. Gordon. Pitch pops away from Pierzynski. Gordon has a stolen base after adding his 3rd hit of the night. That's 54 stolen bases. 3 away from the top spot in the National League now is Gordon. There it is, the flux capacitor.
D. Gordon, with his 3-for-4 night, is up to 333. Bryce Harper in Washington is 0-for-3 tonight. He's at 337. There are those stolen base numbers.
You saw during the at-bat by Gordon the ball that he hit that nearly got Christian Yelich in the on-deck circle. Two guys come to mind when that happens. One, Logan Morrison. Remember, Morrison was hit in the on-deck circle at the old football stadium. And the other, Juan Encarnacion, who had his career cut short when he was hit. Not as a Marlin. Encarnacion was one of the names that our favorite Jack McKeon could not pronounce.
He kind of shortened it.
Yeah, I usually heard it as Encarcerone.
Encarcerone.
Yelich finds green grass in right center field. And Christian Yelich has got a single. Gordon scores. Well, let's see here. Justin Bour is a triple shy of the cycle. And now Yelich is a home run shy of the cycle.
Well, the two left-handers getting hits off McCarahan, the left-hander, D. Gordon and Yelich, each with 3 hits now in the game. The Marlins tonight in runners in scoring position situations are 10 for 15.
There's Prado. Andrew McCarahan, 3rd reliever, 4th pitcher to work. Prado's knocked in 2 with a pair of singles, has scored 2 runs.
It's such a crazy game. How you brought it up earlier. Last night's game against the Phillies, a 1-0 game. The Marlins scratched out that 1 run. on just 4 hits. And then things go crazy tonight.
McCarhan makes a nice play. Simmons makes an even better play for the catch and the throw.
And you see how soon Yelich had to slide. I mean, he had to get down because Simmons had the ball so quickly from McCarhan. This is just a acrobatic. You see Yelich down. Terrific balance. 2-time Gold Glove winner. Just 6 errors this year for Andrelton Simmons.
Now BOURN. BOURN attempting to do something, and Yelich for that matter as well. It's never been done. (3,649 games). Pitch is in. Now, as we noted, BOURN in his professional life has 2 triples, and they both came in single A in 2010 and 2011. But having watched what we've watched tonight, you can't discount anything.
No, the way things have gone in this game, and don't rule anything out. It's been a fun game for us. It's been a fun game for the fans.
Not for the pitchers.
Not for the pitchers.
Or the pitching coaches. Sharp ground ball rolls up on Castro, but he collects it and gets the out. 12-6 Fish. And whip it good. MLB Whip Around. Cool music, great highlights, instant analysis, and Dontrell Willis. What more do you need to know? 7 Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Is that a Back to the Future Doc Brown wig? Is that what that is? The hoverboard. Craig is still trying to get out of the car. Finally, he emerges.
Craig is going to sneak into the Clevelander and ask for a tab. The diet-free soft drink that Marty gets.
Ah, that's right.
So you got to really be old to remember a tab.
How about a Fresca? Michael Bourne's up. Ryan Ellington, a fastball that Bourne laces into left for a hit. So Jose Fernandez is done. He goes 5 innings. He is in line for the win. He is in line to set some history. Most home decisions without a loss to start a career, going all the way back to 1900. He's tied with Johnny Allen and Lamar Hoyt.
Well, you know, giving up 9 hits and 6 runs in 5 innings, probably not how he envisioned the possibility of doing that.
Ryan LaVarnway, backup catcher, pinch hitting here. LaVarnway in the 9 spot. And he fouls it back. McCurahan occupies the 4 spot in the Braves lineup.
I was just thinking the other day, looking at box scores and seeing how games go and seeing how managers use relievers for an inning. We may not see many double switches as the years go on, because the idea of a double switch is twofold, but one of the parts of it is to get a couple of innings, maybe 3 innings from the pitcher, and there isn't anybody that goes 3 innings anymore.
Well, you'll certainly see fewer of them in September until baseball does something with these runaway rosters where bullpens are packed with. The Nationals had 14 in their pen, 19 total pitchers on their active roster. College teams don't suit up that many guys.
No, they don't.
For a home game, let alone the travel squad. Markakis in the leadoff spot is on deck. 6 runs, 10 hits for Atlanta, 12 runs, 19 hits for Miami. Every Marlin position player has a hit. How about that? In further perusing the box score, every position player has at least 2 hits.
Yeah, D. Gordon with 3, Yelich with 3, Bour with 3, everybody else with 2.
Oh, Prado on his knees out there. Gordon's turn. Beautiful.
Just spectacular. There's the grab from his knees. Watch D step back out of the way of the slide from Michael Bourne to complete the double play. Very deserving of a Gold Glove as well is Martin Prado. We've talked about Echeverria. We've certainly talked about D. Gordon. Martin Prado's had that kind of year too.
No arguments here. Pitch is out. You know, for Danny Echeverria, you just hope that this absence hasn't taken him off the Gold Glove radar. Although he and Simmons have both missed games. And in terms of games played, they're pretty close.
Yeah, Simmons has played a few more, but he spent a little time on the DL as well. I know it's been frustrating for Danny Echeverria.
Tapper, Ellington bare hands and gets the out. Nicely done. Martin Prado starting it. Slick double play. Fish up 12-6. You know what? There's still a lot of baseball to be played tonight. Fireworks Friday, early fireworks from Miami and even Atlanta. There have been 18 runs scored already. Andrew McKirahan gets Marcell Ozuna, Derek Dietrich, Jeff Mathis, Rich Waltz, Tommy Hutton, Craig Minervini. Our entire crack staff is here. Ozuna lifts it to center. MAYBIN is out there and he makes the catch. Adonis Garcia is in the ball game. And Michael Bourne is out in right. Nick Markakis has come out of the game.
So Garcia goes in Markakis' spot. That was amazing when you were talking about everybody in the lineup, the 8 hitters, with each having 2 or more hits. I'm thinking, yeah, that's great. And at the time, the Marlins had only batted 5 times.
Derek Dietrich has singled and doubled. Busted bat and a big hop for Castro. Closing day for the Marlins at home is this Sunday. The Braves at 1:10. All fans get a 2016 magnetic schedule courtesy of Miccosukee Resort and Gaming. Closing day festivities. All kids run the bases in the Diamond Dash after the game. Go to Marlins.com today.
Be nice to see a good turnout Sunday. This club's been really entertaining here in the month of September.
That's Tom Kohler, Shelby Miller start on Sunday. Justin Nicolino, Julio Teheran go tomorrow night. Now, we've addressed Yelich and Bour and their cycle possibilities. Mathis has the triple and the double out of the way.
And of course, Mathis homered recently, his first of the year.
he would be the most unlikely guy to go for the cycle. I mean, his average at 143. He's got 1 homer. As you noted, and we've talked about, he has swung the bat much better. His last 3 to 4 weeks with sporadic play, he always seems to come up with a hit a night.
With extra base power, too. He's got a lot of doubles over that span. The triple, of course, tonight. The home run. Jeff Mathis with 4 RBIs tonight.
Fastball from McCurahan is in. This was a Ryan Weber start, and the 25-year-old from St. Pete did not fare well. 7 runs on 9 hits. Ryan Kelly an inning. Sugar Ray Marimon knocked around for 4 runs. Mathis strikes out on a changeup. And the Marlins are down 1-2-3 for the first time tonight. Of the game. All right, the strongest fan photo of the game. We'll settle for that. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Becky. Very nice. Now, wait a minute. What ballpark is that? Atlanta? Yeah. It's in Atlanta. A little cotton candy and beer.
Fresh cotton candy tonight. Friday night, it's usually much fresher. Sunday gets a little stale. Nice crowd, just under 25,000 tonight.
There's some cotton candy for you. Fastball misses in. A 1-0 start for Daniel Castro. Freddie Freeman, and then the pitcher spot due up. 7th inning for Atlanta. Brian Ellington in his 2nd inning in relief. If you're just tuning in and you're looking at the score and you're looking at Ellington, you may say to yourself, well, wait a minute, is Jose okay? Is Jose in line for the win? The answer to both is yes. It was not an easy night. Fernandez gave up 6 runs on 5 innings, and Ellington into his 2nd inning in relief. The good news is the Marlins have scored 12 times on 19 hits. Boy, the
Mets, Rich, getting a big night. Go ahead and read that, and then I'll let you know who it's from.
Hut, you want a big night?
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's a big night for you. September 30th, the watch party. Marlins and Rays, Carolina Ale House in Doral. Billy, the Energy team, and a few Marlins celebs might pop in as well. You never know who you're going to see at a watch party. Swing and a miss. It's brought to you by Modelo Especial. And there are specials on Modelo Especial throughout the game. I feel like I didn't do that read justice.
I kind of interrupted your flow. You know, it's like a rhythm, like Jose's rhythm in the first inning.
No, but I'm confused at the end because the last line says take advantage of specials on Modelo Especial. Shouldn't they be especial? Specialis?
No, they're special.
All right.
And so is Lucas Duda tonight for the Mets.
Oh, they're a good segue. Go with that.
See, we're talking about 3-run homers. Lucas Duda, 2 3-run homers tonight in Cincinnati. 9-0 Mets lead, and Duda has 6 RBIs.
2-1 pitch to Freeman, and he flips it foul and out of play. Now, does that put him on the leaderboard?
We'll have to find out.
Well,
I'll tell you what it does do. He had a period where he's very cold, and I guarantee the Mets are happy. Terry Collins is happy to get his big left-handed bat hot.
See the Braves box score by the leaderboard. We referenced earlier our list of 3-run homers this year and the guys that have hit the most, and Justin Bour is tied for first with 7. Freddie Freeman, a high deep drive. Yelich back, and that's in the bushes. And as odd as it sounds, this thing isn't over. 18th of the year for Freeman. Miami's lead is cut down to 4. A leadoff walk and about a 425-foot homer.
Yeah, this has got some tremendous distance. The 2 home runs the Braves have hit tonight, the one by Markakis and this one by Freddie Freeman, have been big blasts. Freeman with 3 hits tonight, too.
Pedro Siriaco. Siriaco to right. Ozuna is there, and he makes the catch. This is one of those games, Hunt, that drives defensive coordinators nuts. And pitchers and pitching coaches. Coors Light, cold hard fact. 91 losses this season, most since 1990 when they lost 97 games.
Well, it's been a tremendous run for the Braves. They're in different hands now. John Hart trying to rebuild things.
Boy, and wholesale changes in the offseason. Hayward, Gaddis, big names, guys that you thought would be a Brave for a long time. Upton. Both Uptons, for that matter. Get ready for a Tom Hallion game tomorrow night, Tommy.
That's right, Tom Hallion at first base. He'll be behind the plate tomorrow.
Get your chainsaws ready or your pull mowers. The ripcord strike 3 call of Tom Hallion awaits you tomorrow night. Prado does the honors.
Talking about the Braves and changes that they've made. As we saw today, where their former general manager Frank Wren has been named vice president of baseball operations by Dave Dombrowski for the Boston Red Sox.
Those two worked together with the Marlins.
Yes, they did. They have a long-time relationship.
Simmons pops out. Marlins are happy to have Prado back at third because their tradition of ending the inning by getting Prado the ball is back in business. Although they did improvise with Prado in the dugout while he was hurt. The Marlins would throw it to third, whoever was at third, Derek Dietrich, Donovan Solano, and they would bring it to the dugout and then give it to Prado. It's kind of a fun thing that started midway through the season. Almost a salute to Prado being the leader of the club. Even on strike threes at the plate, JT Realmuto or Jeff Mathis would throw down to third.
And as Prado told you and I, it's a team unity thing. It just brings everybody together.
Prado, one of the guys that wears one of those sport mouthpieces.
You and I tried that one night, but the broadcast was very garbled.
Yes, it was. I think MAYBIN got a piece.
Of course, there are many who say that might be the case more than one night.
D. Gordon also wears one of those mouthpieces. Little tapper. Ellington got there and he gets it over to Bourne.
Boy, that's a nice play.
Who flips it to Prado, who brings it in. That's how it works. Braves get a couple. Freddie Freeman's long home run. And this ball game gets a little tighter. It's 12-8. Be your home for postseason action, the American League Division and Championship Series. Don't miss a moment of the drama, the history. It all begins October 8th on FS1 and it streams live on Fox Sports Go. Game summary, and this one just scratches the surface trying to summarize tonight. 12 runs, 19 hits for the Fish. Look at the bottom line, though. Justin Bourn, Christian Yelich are each a hit away from a cycle. And Miguel Rojas just keeps getting hits tonight. That's his third single.
He hadn't slowed down a bit.
The Marlins in their history have never had a cycle. Of course, that's an oddity in itself. This is the 23rd season of Marlins baseball. Danny Barawa is in.
People watching this game tonight, Rich, are seeing a lot of historical things. Have a chance to see the win by Jose Fernandez. It's also just the third time in franchise history that all 8 position players recorded at least 2 hits.
All right. Add that to what we just saw, and that was Tomas Talis trying to bunt. 12 runs, 20 hits for the Marlins, but it's a 4-run game.
It's a 4-run game, and you have to try to add on.
Absolutely. And so Talis instead rolls one to second. Nice feed from Castro and a good clean turn from Simmons. And
by the
Marlins are erased there. A couple of outs for Barawa.
The other 2 times, Rich, that all 8 position players had 2 or more hits, late June of 2010 against the Mets, and back in June of 2009 in Toronto against the Blue Jays.
Well, D. Gordon has had a busy night tonight. 3 hits, a stolen base, has scored a couple runs. And he takes inside. Gordon's average at .333. Bryce Harper tonight is 0 for 4, and his average is down to .336.
Getting interesting.
It is getting interesting. As well, the stolen base by Gordon is 54th. He's 3 away from Billy Hamilton and the league lead. And of course, Hamilton has been shut down for the rest of the year.
And look at the hits. 193 now in his quest to get to that 200 hit mark. And over the years, not a lot of Marlins have gotten 200 hits. Juan Pierre twice, and Hanley Ramirez. After tonight, the Marlins will have 8 more games.
You know, it's interesting. We've talked about when you're pursuing someone in a batting race, are you ultra aggressive? Do you become selective and try to walk a little more? End of the bat. Olivera's throw, catch and tag. Nicely done by Freeman. And Gordon is out. Headed to the 8th. It's a 4-run game. 12-8 Miami.
Marlins minor league pitcher of the year. And I'm with the Marlins minor league player of the year out at the Batavia Muck Dogs is Stone Garrett. And Stone, you had a big year. You hit nearly 300. It's amazing how quickly things can happen. A year ago, you were a draft pick. You get your taste in pro ball. How about this year for you?
Right. This year was a great year. I mean, thanks to my teammates who made it easier on me, just driving them in, you know, and my coach, Angela Spot in Batavia. It was a fun year. What did last year in the GCL, the Gulf Coast Rookie League, do for you to set you up for this year? You played the New York Penn League, which is a shortened league, and you led the league in homers with 11. Right. The GCL just introduced me to professional baseball, you know, showed me what the grind was all about, and then just showing that you got to compete every day. Hit 297. You had a good year, played some center field. Got some nice cities to go to throughout, where is it, upstate New York? You going to Vermont too? New York, yeah. No, we didn't go to Vermont, but we went to Brooklyn, Staten Island. That was probably my favorite. Yeah. What was that like there? It was fun. You know, the fans in Brooklyn, they were crazy. It was packed house every game. You have a shot of you getting your award. That's always a neat thing because you know how many good players. You were drafted with a lot of them. It's not just Adam Conley is here in the major leagues. What was that like for you today to get honored? It truly was an honor to be recognized as what they see as one of the top players in their organization. So I know there's a lot of great players in our organization, so to be called one of the best it's flattering. Have you been to Marlins Park before? I have a couple times. And? I love it. It's a great stadium. Now when you see these guys out here, you're thinking, I'm sure somewhere you're thinking, one day I'd like to be right there. Oh, I'd love to be right there, and that's what I strive for every day. Why baseball for you? It's just playing every day, you know, football. I like football, but it really wasn't my sport, and I just fell in love with baseball since I was a little kid. What's the meaning? You got one of the great names. We were talking about on the air when we named you, that Stone Garrett. Just a solid, great name. Tell me about that. Well, my dad's nickname in high school was Rock, so he made my name Stone. Makes a lot of sense. Exactly. Thanks a lot. Nice meeting you, too. Good luck next year. Thank you. All right. Stone Garrett, guys. Back to you. It's a name we'll be looking for. Oh, yeah. Listening for. And, of course, when Adam Conley left the New Orleans ball club, he was leading the Pacific Coast League in ERA. And, of course, he would not get back there. He'd find himself in the rotation, and he certainly has found his groove of late. By the way, Stone, not yet 20 years old. Hit 297, 11 home runs, 46 RBIs, 18 doubles, 6 triples. Andre Rienzo is in. Hector Olivera just beat out an infield hit. It's only a 4-run game. Michael Bourn, the hitter. Ryan LaVarnway is on deck. And Bourn goes after a breaking ball. You know, everyone in the Braves starting lineup, starting 8, has at least a hit. Yeah, a dozen hits for Atlanta. Miami would really like to stay away from A.J. Ramos, who has worked on 2 consecutive nights. Soft serve into left field, and the Braves have something going here in the 8th inning. Andre Rienzo into the ballgame here. He was in the bullpen when Justin Bour blasted his 3-run homer. Watch it bang off the scoreboard. Mr. Rienzo got a souvenir. See, there's some ways to stay loose in the bullpen. That's one of them. This is getting a lot more interesting than the Marlins would like it to. Mike Dunn is up. Dunn has worked on consecutive nights. Brian Morris has worked on consecutive nights. Whew, that's foul. And that was almost extra bases, with Olivera about to score easily. Yeah, and those 2 gentlemen you just mentioned,
getting some work right now, loosening up.
Well, it looked like it would be a laugher. Miami scored 11 unanswered runs after Jose Fernandez found himself on the other end of a 4-0 score after just half an inning. One and two here. Fernandez 5 innings, 9 hits, 6 runs. Ellington 2 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs. Rienzo's first action of the night, and he's given up 2 hits right out of the pen. Boy, the Nationals lost again at home, 8-2. The Phillies got him. Aaron Altair, as Tommy pointed out, with a couple of home runs, including an inside the park grand slam for the Phils.
For the Nationals, Rich, just 3 games over 500 now, 78 and 75.
And the Mets, who are up big 12-1, are going to stretch that to 8.5 games. Reducing their magic number to 1. John Chimchuk, our baseball historian, on top of that. In that pivotal series in Houston with the Rangers and the Astros, Texas is up 5-0. It's early, it's top 4, but the Astros are certainly wobbling and leaning to the left right now, or right, whichever way you want to choose. He did not check his swing. He went around, and so Rienzo kept going with the breaking ball. He finally gets a swing and a miss.
Good curveball. Yeah, just looking at that Mets ball game in Cincinnati, we've talked about the long ball. Lucas Duda, a couple of home runs. Curtis Granderson hit his 24th. But Noah Syndergaard, 7 2/3, gave up just the 1 run and had 11 strikeouts.
That's a great sign for the Mets.
Yeah.
A very good sign, because some of the young pitchers have been a little off in this last month. And to get everybody firing again headed towards October would really be nice for Terry Collins. And maybe take some of the pressure off of the whole Matt Harvey situation. Adonis Garcia with a healthy cut. And it's 0-1.
They had a good pitching matchup at Wrigley Field today, too. Pirates and Cubs. But Garrett Cole and the Pirates beating John Lester 3-2.
The Cubs got a run in the bottom of the 9th, but Mark Melancon was able to strike out a pair to finish it. Soler and Baez, he punched out. 51 saves for Melancon.
Wow. And for Cole, his 18th win.
Toronto trying to finish off the Rays 5-3, top 9. The Yankees are trailing 4-2 in the 9th in the Bronx to the White Sox. If those scores hold, the lead for Toronto in the East would be 4. That one's well struck. It's down the line, and it's a fair ball. And into the corner it goes. The Braves are going to get 2 runs out of this. Olivera scores. It's Bourn behind him, and he can motor. He scores. And just like that, this is a 2-run game. It's 12-10.
Well, you just never thought it would get to this, but when you keep hanging pitches and making mistakes, Garcia just jumped all over that. And you're right, Dan Jennings now is forced to go to the bullpen, and he certainly didn't want to do that when this inning started.
Adonis Garcia's first AB, a 2-run double, a 2-run game. Kendall Toyota called to the pen. It's not over yet. And the Braves have a runner in scoring position. They force Miami to go back into the bullpen and bring out Brian Morris. You've got 2, 3, and 4. Although the 4 spot for the Braves in flux. That's the pitcher spot. Daniel Castro, Freddie Freeman.
Well, we'll have to see too how Dan Jennings plays this. You have the righty up in Castro. You have the left-hander Freddie Freeman on deck, and I'm sure that's why Mike Dunn is continuing to throw.
So this could be for Morris just a one-man band, so to speak, in Castro. Morris gets a strike. Dunn is ready. Got Garcia at second. There's one down. As noted earlier, Morris worked last night. The bullpen was spectacular. Jared Cozart hit by the line drive left after just 4 innings. Jose Urena, Chris Narveson, Morris, Dunn, and A.J. Ramos brought it home. And Morris worked an inning in relief of Adam Conley in that 11-inning win on Wednesday night.
Yeah, 2 nights, so this makes it 3 nights in a row.
That ball's into right field. That's a hit. Up with the ball is Ozuna. Holding is Garcia, and Ozuna's throw, a strong one. But here are the Braves now with a tying run at first. There's 1 out. Freddie Freeman staring into Miami's dugout. He's not even budging to home plate. So Morris certainly doesn't get Castro out. And that may be the only, and it is the only one he's going to face And Jennings on his way out. It's going to make another move. Bring Mike Dunn in. Freeman against Dunn. Another Kendall Toyota call to the pen. With MLB.com at bat. If you're going to do that, you better hurry because the season's almost done. Up to the moment, any moment, in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcast, StatCast, pitch tracking widget. It goes on, an endless supply of baseball fun on your smartphone, tablet, or smartwatch.
Rich, in a game like tonight, the pitch tracking widget would have run out of gas.
Yes, you're right. The widget would have been out of control. And of course, we have all of that MLB at bat up on our tablets, our iPads here in the booth. If you're a baseball fan, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't have it, you got to get it. Freddie Freeman, Mike Dunn into a crazy 12-10 Marlins lead. Freeman, 2-run homer, 2 singles, and a line drive out. So he has swung it well tonight. Castro's at first. It is Back to the Future night. Separated at birth. That's not right. Biff.
Yeah, Freddie Freeman's no Biff.
They do look alike. I don't know that Biff, who ended up, washing cars in the future, right? I think Freddie turned out a little better. Now, Mike Dunn has come in and gone 3-0 on Freeman. The matchup certainly favored Dunn. Barraclaw's getting ready, and Nick Swisher is on deck. Took a 3-0 cut, and he pops it into the seats. 3 for 23 in his career is Freeman against Dunn.
Well, he got the green light 3-0. Knew he was going to get that fastball.
Jose Fernandez, 5 innings, 6 runs. When he left, it was 12-6. Dunn walks him. Bags are loaded. Now you've got a switch hitting Nick Swisher. Barraclaw's in the bullpen. And you're getting into the same group of relievers that you wanted to stay away from after last night and Wednesday night. And the tying run is in scoring position.
I'm going to give you a ray of sunshine, though. You have a guy who's got bad knees, and if Swisher rolls over on one, hits a ground ball, Marlins have a chance to turn a double play. On the other hand, you saw his numbers with bases loaded, and Swisher's always been a terrific on-base guy, a good eye, and very patient at the plate.
I think that's a big factor here with Dunn obviously struggling. He's thrown 6 pitches, only one's been a strike. Gets a strike there. 1-1. $15 hits now for Atlanta to go with their 10 runs. The Marlins have 12 runs on 20 hits. One of those games too where the number of guys that have scored far outnumber the runners left on base. 4 apiece as far as left on base on a 22-run combined effort.
Yeah, there haven't been many left on. They've all come in to score.
Swisher fouls it back to the screen.
Yeah, the Braves tonight are 5 for 10 with runners in scoring position. The Marlins are 10 for 15.
Two. Full count. Well, no place to put Nick Swisher. Andrelton Simmons is hoping he gets a shot. Dunn walked Freeman. On 5 pitches. The 3-2.
What an interesting game, a head scratcher for both managers.
It really is. Both teams had 4 runs in their first innings. Atlanta quick 4-0 lead. Markakis had homered. Bour's 3-run shot in the bottom half tied it at 4 for Miami. Another 3-2. Check swing, breaking ball, did not go. Mike Dunn walks home a run, and Atlanta is within 1. Wow.
That's the frustrating part. You hate to just give it to him. Freeman walked. We talked about the good eye and the patience of Swisher. He draws the walk.
Did not go. And Jennings on his way out. And Mike Dunn will exit. And the Marlins bullpen taking their lumps here in the 8th. The lead is almost gone. It's 12-11. Kendall Toyota called to the pen. The Marlins in this ball game had an 11-4 lead, a 12-6 lead, and now it's 12-11. 3 runs here in the 8th, and the bags are loaded, and there's 1 out.
Pinch runner is the pitcher. So Swisher leaves the game.
Matt Whistler
goes in to run.
Now, Andrelton Simmons is an early action guy. He likes to put it in play early in the count. The inning started with Andre Rienzo on the mound. He gave up 3 hits, 2 singles, and a 2-run double. Ryan Morris came in, gave up a single to Daniel Castro. That was it for him. Mike Dunn came in and walked both Freddie Freeman and Nick Swisher. 0-1 from Bear Claw. That's a strike.
2 good sliders to start Simmons with. Yeah, the 3 runs in this inning all charged to Rienzo too.
Boy, it'd be great to get a strikeout here. Then you could avoid a sacrifice fly.
Boy, what a job. You know, when you're Jeff Mathis and you call for that slider, there's a chance that that's going to happen. He wouldn't want it any other way.
Bear Claw against Simmons. Cameron Maybin is on deck. Swing and a miss. The bat ends up by third. Bear Claw gets a much needed strikeout.
Boy, that's huge. He made some great pitches, really exploited a guy who is the polar opposite of Nick Swisher. Nick Swisher, the patient, going to make you throw strikes. Simmons just the opposite. Bear Claw with some great sliders to strike him out.
Not out of it yet. Here comes Maybin. Claw misses in. Maybin tonight 1 for 3 with a sacrifice fly.
Oh, there's some good heat there. An interested fan in the Marlins dugout for sure.
One. Little tapper. Prado has to hurry. Has it? Gets the out. And Barraclough bails everybody out in the 8th. Atlanta gets 3 and pulls within 1. But for Kyle Barraclough, 2 enormous outs keeps Miami on top. Bottom 8 coming up. It's 12-11. Coming up, Christian Yelich, Martin Prado, and Justin Bour. Now, 2-3 innings ago, the novelty of the night was, hey, Christian Yelich and Justin Bour can hit for the cycle. Now it's Miami needs an insurance run in a bad way, and Yelich stands in. Yelich is a home run away from the cycle. He doubled in the first, walked in the second, tripled in the fourth, had an RBI single in the fifth. Matt Marksberry throws a strike.
Yeah, a few innings ago, we were thinking about players that might hit for the cycle. We were actually thinking about the 10-run reel. And look what's happening. The count.
Yelich checks his swing on a fastball up and in.
So you're right. Now you're just thinking about just add on. Get a little insurance run here.
Two balls, two strikes. Kyle Barraclough with two enormous outs in the offensive exhibition tonight. The little moments tend to get lost in a game like this.
Some of the defensive plays earlier in the game.
Yelich has 7 home runs this year. picked up. Is it playable? The barn way to the screen. That's just over the screen into that first row. Who would have thought A.J. Ramos would be warming up in the bullpen with a possible 1-run lead to protect?
I guarantee he didn't a couple of hours ago.
Maybe 30 or 40 minutes ago. Prado next, then Bourn. Yelich swings and misses. Here comes Prado. Couple hits, both drove in runs for Prado. Last 18 games, he's over 400 at the plate. Marksberry throws a strike. Braves will have 7, 8, 9 due up in the ninth. And that's the same trio that started the 3-run inning in the 8th. Catches a corks, 1-2. Checkers. Craig and Jeff will attempt to recap this one. There's only been 23 runs and 35 hits combined. Getting a little closer to Prado.
You know what's interesting? He's probably just wild, but every time he's come up and in, which he did on Yelich, he did on Prado a couple of pitches ago, then he comes back and makes a perfect pitch.
Effectively wild, a term used. Prado fouls it back. Crowd still hanging in for Friday night fireworks.
Well, they have had plenty of fireworks.
That's ball 4. Marksberry thought he had a strikeout. Pitch number 7 was out. And here's Bourn. Well, Yelich needed a home run for the cycle. You could see that happening. And we've seen Christian Yelich hit home runs. We've never seen Justin Bour hit a triple. That's because he's not done it in the big leagues. He did it just twice in the minors. 2010, 2011 in single A. Though in this ballpark, a crazy bounce in center, a kick off the wall in right center. More importantly, Prado inches away from first. That's a large insurance run at first base.
You would take a double and a run right here.
Right center, MAYBIN there, and he makes the catch. Marcell Ozuna now. And Ozuna will not face the lefty Marksberry. Braves go to their bullpen. We go to a Kendall Toyota call to the pen. The win and to set a major league record by going 17-0 at home to start his career. But who would have thought it would come in a game like this? It's 12-11. Marcell Ozuna at the plate. The veteran Edwin Jackson is in. Miami looking for an insurance run before turning it over to A.J. Ramos. Ball and a strike. Ozuna, a couple singles, both infield hits to open his night. It's 2 for 4. Derek Dietrich will follow.
Well, and as we've mentioned, if you just joined us, everybody in the starting 8, at least 2 hits.
This is the 6th reliever to work for Atlanta. Miami has used 5. It looks like Ramos will be number 6 for them. Ozuna cracks one to left, but it'll stay in the yard. Garcia gets shy of the track and makes the catch. A.J. Ramos needs 3 outs. A wild one. 12-11 to the 9th. Honda dealers. And by Kubota. For more information or to find a participating dealer, go to FloridaKubota.dealers.com. Look at this. 12 runs, 20 hits for Miami. 11 runs, 15 hits for Atlanta. Jose Fernandez is still in line for the win, which would be a historic one. Miami brings Ichiro in to play left. And A.J. Ramos in to try to shut the door.
Now remember last night in that 1-0 game against the Phillies, A.J. came in, hit the first batter he faced, Odubel Herrera, but then retired the next 3 for his 29th save.
Hector Olivera. He has the power to tie it up. Olivera tonight 2 for 3, both singles, has a sac fly. 2 homers this year. Remember, he joined the Braves in early August.
Started him with a breaky ball, got that foul ball off the fastball.
One, 2. Two balls, 2 strikes. Michael Bourn on deck. Freddie Gonzalez giving some instruction to Bourn in that on deck circle. That one's into left field, a base hit, and the Braves have life here in the 9th.
For a 3rd hit for Olivera tonight. Curveball just stayed up enough. That's a pitch. If it's down around the knees and you're fooled as he was, if you're out in front, you don't hit it like that. But if it's up a little, you got a better approach.
Now Bourn, and Freddie Gonzalez may have been whispering to him about this spot here. Runner at first, nobody out. Ramos over to first. Olivera back in. Three hits tonight for Bourn. Breaking ball misses. 1-0. Lavarnway on deck, and then you get into the top of the order. Adonis Garcia, who had a 2-run double, right now in that spot. Gordon, Rojas, got 2, and got a speedy runner in Michael Bourn. It had to be done to perfection. D. Gordon, Miguel Rojas did it. Thing of beauty. This ball almost stayed down on D, but he stayed with it. The backhand flip, and then a real strong throw by Rojas. Yeah. And just like that, Ramos is 2 strikes away from picking up the save.
That gets him fired up, too, that double play. He came back, made a really good pitch, that first pitch to Lavarnway.
(12-11) Miami.
Another good curveball.
the crowd on their feet.
They have been entertained tonight, Rich.
Got him! Ball game. And what a ball game it was. The Marlins win it. A historic win for Jose Fernandez. Not what he envisioned. Not while giving up 6 runs. A Major League record. 17-0. The most consecutive wins to start a Major League career. And he needs a lot of help from his offense and from the bullpen. And the Marlins bring it home. Wow, this was something. 23 runs, 36 hits combined.
This game had just about everything you'd want. Certainly all the runs, but then it got close at the end. It had suspense, defense, and history.
In 3 hours and 19 minutes in front of 24,626. A.J. Ramos not just saved number 30. And, of course, Jose Fernandez picks up his 6th win of the season. And he starts his Major League career 17-0 at home. Jose Day, Jose Knight, and a Major League record tonight.
And all of a sudden, too, Rich, the Marlins have put together 3 consecutive wins. They're 14-8 here in the month of September.
And the man behind the plate for it all tonight, and also at the plate, Jeff Mathis joins us. 3-run double, a triple, how about that, and a long night behind the dish. Congratulations on the win. That was some ball game.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, tell us about the start from Jose Fernandez to begin with, because Markakis homered, and all of a sudden the Braves had 4 early runs. What was going on?
He got off to a little shaky start, just leaving some fastballs up, and they took advantage of it. And, got a few runs on the board there early, but I was glad we answered in the bottom of the first to, rejuvenate us.
How much do you think, Jeff, that helps the fact that the club rebounded and got back into a tie game?
Well, that's big. I mean, anytime you go out and give up early runs, it's nice to get yourself back in the ball game and get the momentum back on your side. And then you saw Jose settle down and do what he's capable of doing, and just a good ball game.
And Jeff, you were part of that offensive resurgence. You had the 3-run double in the 3rd and the RBI triple in the 4th. You and I had a conversation about 2 weeks ago about your hitting and how in the last month we've seen you all of a sudden turn it around. What's been the difference for you?
Just a different approach, mixed in a leg kick and starting to let the ball travel a little bit, and a little more confidence at the plate, and starting to see see some dividends up there, and just happy to contribute offensively.
We'll talk about the offense, but how about the job Kyle Barraclough did coming into a key situation? I know A.J. Ramos got the save, but Kyle Barraclough saved this ball game.
Yeah, he came in and did a phenomenal job, getting the punch out of Simmons there and throwing some good sliders and, getting us back in the dugout. That was huge in that situation.
All right, Matty, thank you for the visit. Congratulations on a nice win tonight. Keep it up.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
All right, the Marlins stay hot. The Fish have won 6 of their last 7 series, and they win the opener here. Jose Fernandez on Marlins Live. He'll be live with Jeff and Craig next.